Overnight, a historic vote. The United Kingdom deciding to bow out of the European Union. They Brexited. They're out. And moments ago, Donald Trump reacting, saying a lot of the issues that spurred this decision are the same as we see here in the United States. Take a listen.
I really think the borders, it's not so different. It's amazing the way the world is not so different. We're on the other side of the ocean, but the world is not so different. We're right over there. You go many, many miles right in that direction. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of it has to do with immigration, but I also think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they wanted to be independent. They got tired of seeing stupid decisions, just like the American people are tired of seeing stupid decisions, whether it's the Iran deal, whether it's the border where people just flow across the border like Swiss cheese. They're tired of seeing stupid decisions.
There you go. That's over there in Turnberry, Scotland. Here to react is TV talk show host Tavis Smiley. He's got a new book out. Tavis, so Donald Trump says the reason the people of England voted to get out of the European Union, they wanted to take their country back. Borders are important. They didn't like what's going on with Social Security over there, with unemployment, and, of course, with immigration.
To be sure, there's anger and there's frustration, but that doesn't mean that you appeal to the worst elements in people to respond to that frustration.
What do you mean?
Anger. I think that the rise of racial campaigns around the world, including this country, is troubling. There clearly was fear-mongering. David Cameron made a sharp turn to the right last year, and it, I think, put his future in jeopardy, obviously his resignation earlier today, but also I think puts the future of this country in jeopardy. Ultimately, we live in a global world, and if you think that you can isolate yourself on an island, you're going to find yourself very lonely and bankrupt, not just ideologically, but maybe even fiscally in the years to come.
However, these countries, like the UK, the United States, have seen a migrant crisis, a refugee crisis, and we've seen it triggered by terrorism, by threats of ISIS, by infiltration. What does it have to do with race if you're talking about securing your country, ensuring that an enemy doesn't infiltrate? That's so much of what has sparked fears here and in the UK.
I think you have to make a distinction between those two things. Again, I understand the frustration, and yet David Cameron threw immigrants under the bus. He paid a heavy price for that. He tried to link the then mayoral candidate.
He was for Remain.
Well, yeah, but he tried to be, but he still, last year, if you go back and look at the record, he, again, trying to make his case, threw immigrants under the bus. As you'll recall, he tried to tie then mayoral candidate Khan, now the mayor of London, to ISIS. I mean, if that isn't fear-mongering, if that isn't race-mongering, if that isn't playing racial politics, I don't know what is. And it obviously backfired.
Tavis, we're talking a lot this morning, hearing Donald Trump talk about the parallels between what's happening there and what's happening here. If you go to social media, some people on Twitter, one guy is writing, Brexit is further proof that Donald J. Trump will be the next president of the United States. Another guy says, one lesson from Brexit for the U.S., if you think Trump can't win, you are lazy, complacent, and very dangerous.
Clearly, I am not a Trump supporter. I think the world knows that, but I will be the first to admit that that's the first thought that I had this morning, that it underscores for me, not that it means that Donald will win, but it means that fear works. Donald Trump is playing fear better than anybody else. I don't think he's playing to our better angels, but when you scare people about what the future can be, fear always works. And so the first thought I had was that if this worked in England, it might very well work for Donald Trump in this country. This is going to be a tight race, I think.
Because we've got an immigration crisis in this country. There are millions of people who did not sign the guest book, and he has said he's for immigration. Legal immigration. All right, you've got a brand new book out. Yep. It's called Before You Judge Me, The Triumph and Tragedy of Michael Jackson's Last Days. Tavis just told me that today marks 7 years.
Tomorrow, Saturday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
That was fast since Michael Jackson died.
It was quick. I was a fan of Michael, like most of us, and the day that Michael died, I was just gobsmacked because I had already purchased my tickets, my concert tickets, my plane ticket, hotel reservations to go to London to the O2 to see the final concert. I was ready to go. And I wanted to know as a fan, what happened from the moment you said you were going to come back, this is it, one more time. 16 weeks later, you're dead. My ultimate question is, why are you, if I can, pardon the phrase, why are you gone so soon? That was my question, Steve. When I got into the research, though, what I realized was that my question was the wrong question. It wasn't why are you gone so soon, it's how did you survive this long? When I saw all that was going on in his world in the last 16 weeks as we reconstruct his life, I don't know how he made it to 50.
Will there be surprises for readers? I mean, we've heard stories, but you uncover some.
I think so. There's obviously this cocktail you're taking of propofol to go to sleep at night and Demerol shots for pain by day.
How do you get that?
You got it. Arnold Klein gave it to him by day. Conrad Murray gave it to him by night. So it wasn't just the self-medicating, of course, initially born of pain. seen. But you got managers, he's changing managers like he's changing socks. His father's got him under pressure to cancel the O2 concerts and to do a reunion tour with his brother. I mean, there's so much going on in his world. It's no wonder that he couldn't shut it off at night. And it's just sad that
what are the
he's gone.
lessons for all of us when you learn about the research? Because you talk about his father,
Sure.
and many of us are parents. Like, what's the lesson you learned?
The lesson number one is to be careful what you ask for. Number two, that greed kills. Michael made bad decisions, to be sure, a lot of self-inflicted wounds, but the greed, people getting their claws into him, is a problem. And thirdly, and it's a very good question, I am wondering now whether or not I believe anymore in child actors, in child performers.
Why?
Because when you put them in that position so early on, it is a very, very difficult road to hoe. I'm praying every day for his daughter Paris now. You can just see publicly the turmoil and the drama and the pain that she's going through.
At that age.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's tough.
Brand new book called Before You Judge Me. Check it out. Tavis, always a pleasure.
Good to see you. Thank you all.
Great. Congratulations on the book, Tavis.
Thank you.